evening, we bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo Del Rosario.
And we bring you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Jet Manuel. And in tonight's game plan, from the three-point shootout to the slam dunk contest, the All-Star game to the All-Star game, we'll talk about our key takeaways from the 2022 NBA All-Star Weekend.
We'll also check in with Alaska head coach Jeff Cariaso to talk about his all-time favorite Alaska moments and teammates in the history of the storied franchise. And we'll also get some updates from the Gilas Pilipinas bubble as they enter the 2023 FIBA Asian Cup Qualifiers bubble. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. It has been a roller coaster of a weekend for us NBA fans. We saw Karl-Anthony Towns winning the three-point shootout as the lone big man in the competition. We then poured our feelings out after the slam dunk contest where we witnessed Obi Toppin win. Yep, those feelings may be negative. And then earlier today, Steph Curry dropped 50 points on 16 threes, ending with a LeBron game winner in Cleveland to wrap up the All-Star weekend. Let's discuss our key takeaways from the events. Joining us to talk about the NBA, our four-time UAAP champion, Coach Willie Wilson, and eight-time PBA champion, Coach Jeff Cariaso. Gentlemen, welcome to the game. Coach Jeff, great to see you there doing well. Coach Willie, thank you very much for being in studio with us again.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's get started here because a lot of people had a lot to say, as I mentioned a while ago, especially with the first day of the weekend, the three-point competition, the slam dunk competition, which certain NBA legends just walked out of in general. Okay, so let's talk first about Karl-Anthony Towns and the three-point shooting because Coach Willie, he did something which was rather emotional, wearing the chain of his mother who has passed and basically won it all for her. Your thoughts on how that event in particular panned out?
Well, I mean, again, tragedy what happened to Karl-Anthony Towns' mother, but I think, this is a trend that'll be going forward. Big men in the three-point shooting contest. More and more big men are stepping out. You got Lauri Markkanen of the Cavs, obviously Karl-Anthony Towns. I think this is great for the NBA and great for the league moving forward.
I mean, yeah, you talk about big men stepping out and shooting more threes. Do you think we're gonna have more big men joining a three-point shootout? And in your opinion, do you like seeing that now?
Oh, definitely. I love seeing that. I mean, I was a big man. I wish that I had that option during my time. I just think with today's NBA, with the pace and space, the more space that you have with regards to bigs actually stepping out and being able to shoot the three, you're going to see a more exciting game, more attacks to the basket, more dunks, which all the fans want to see.
Yeah, Coach Jeff, obviously that whole experience of seeing a big man winning the three-point competition was rather unique. But another thing that was unique was the reaction over on social media after that slam dunk contest. Obviously, there were a lot more misses than a lot of people would have hoped. But then when you look at this, one of my favorite comments was, it feels like Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon ruined it all for us ever since they had that great showdown. Your thoughts on what happened in that slam dunk competition and really what could be done to improve on it?
I mean, I agree, Pao. I mean, after that LaVine and Gordon battle, I just feel like it's gone downhill ever since then, I, like millions of others watching, not to throw more wood in a fire, but I was really disappointed in the dunk contest this year. I really think because of the time given, it's if they miss a couple of times, it's very anticlimactic on how they are given their points. When you have a lot of time like that, and then I just also really think with the performance of the guys entering this year, not that they weren't ready. I just felt like you got to make your dunks. You got to do something spectacular. I understand being creative, but when you spend 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times, kind of like all right over and over again, it's really anticlimactic. So. Yeah, I was a little bored, to be honest.
Yeah, same here, Coach. Honestly, I mean, same with Pao. I think same with Coach Willie also. Maybe it's time to change it up or switch it up. Or, we were talking off air, and maybe one way to actually improve the dunk contest, and plain and simple, is to just get better dunkers. So I want to ask actually Coach Willie and Coach Jeff, a little bit of a put you on a spot here, but who would you love to see to make the dunk contest more exciting? Coach Jeff, I'll start with you.
Yeah, to be honest, like I said, I love JTA, but if he's barely kind of dunking it, it seems like it's hard for him to join the dunk contest, right? I just like to see the high flyers. I like to see Zach LaVine back in there, right? Why not a Gordon LaVine, part 2? Why not? I know they're a little older. If not, this is where I'd go. I'd go with the young cats. Go bring in the young rookies. These guys have fresh and young legs. Let them go out there and see what they could do. And then, I'm sure it'll be more exciting.
All right, how about you, Coach?
Yeah, Coach Willie.
I mean, just piggybacking off what Coach Jeff said, I'd love to see, Ja Morant.
Yeah,
I mean, we saw what he did
definitely.
during the All-Star game. Throw in Miles Bridges, Anthony Edwards, Zion.
Right.
I mean,
Well, if Zion's healthy, a healthy Zion.
a healthy Zion.
And less overweight.
Yeah,
Zion right now might be a problem, to be completely frank. All right, so we now move on to what happened today in the All-Star. Actually, we were having a great discussion with our writers a while ago, Jet and I want to bring you guys in. Coach Jeff, do you feel that what happened today, Steph going for 50 off an incredible number of three-pointers and LeBron with the game winner, do you think that kind of absolved the NBA for what happened in that first day in terms of excitement to really cap off, and we can look back and say that that was a fun All-Star weekend?
Right. I mean, to be honest with you, we just spoke about the dunk contest. To me, that was the only thing that was a little disappointing. But, the All-Star game today, I'd like to say it's one for the record books. Classic. Imagine they both scored in the 160s, right?
Yeah.
Steph hitting unbelievable shots, from pretty much everywhere. And then, again, to end it that way and to end it in Cleveland, I think that just made the fans who were watching and witnessing all that just go crazy and wild, and obviously all the millions of fans everywhere who were watching it on TV.
Yeah, definitely, Coach. And we look forward to seeing that and more of that action following years. But for this All-Star game, Coach Willie, I mean, I just want to know your general thoughts. How did you find the All-Star game after watching it a while ago, having absorbed it? What did you think about it?
First and foremost, I want to applaud the NBA for just brightening up the All-Star game, throwing out different formats.
Yeah.
The race to 24 points during the fourth quarter, that just adds another level of excitement rather than playing two time. It gets a little boring. We all know that there's no defense in the first three quarters. So to make it competitive in the fourth quarter, it just gets all the fans engaged. And again, shout out to all the Laker fans out there. Sorry, Coach Jeff.
Yes, sir.
But I mean, to name the MVP trophy after Kobe Bryant, I mean, it's
just fitting.
Yeah, it's so fitting.
It's just fitting.
It does, and again, there are so many things to really love about this particular All-Star, with Steph Curry doing what he did and LeBron James doing what he did to end it. And when you look at the format right now, do you feel that since you mentioned a while ago, since it has changed and really made it more competitive in the end, do you feel that right now we're now entering a phase wherein the All-Star game is actually must-watch basketball? Because before, it was not necessarily the case.
Definitely. I mean, me personally, you got me asking Coach Topex to change the practice schedule. I just so that I can catch the All-Star game. I'm trying to work in the game just so that I'm not going to miss anything, because again, it's must-see TV. You never know what you're going to see. You have the best and the brightest stars in the game. Just playing it. It's not East versus West anymore.
Yeah.
So the draft is amazing.
Yeah.
There's bragging rights. I mean, again, it's
and
must-see
there's
TV.
storylines like Kevin Durant not picking James Harden.
Yeah,
the draft itself is must-see TV.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And Coach Willie, thank you very much for joining us and telling us that Coach Topex did move the schedule for the All-Star game, because he knows everything about it. Coach Jeff, I don't know if you did the same thing, but then again, Coach Willie, thank you very much for being here in studio with us.
For sure, thanks for having me.
Of course, thanks for joining us, Coach Willie. And after the break, Coach Jeff Cariaso stays with us to talk about the legendary franchise of the Alaska Aces and their place in PBA history. Stay tuned, you're watching the game. Welcome back to the game. It's been a week into the resumption of the PBA Governors Cup, and ever since the announcement of a certain storied franchise, wala pa ring tatalo sa Alaska.
Oh my God.
Joining us tonight to talk about the glory days of the Aces franchise as well as their current campaign in the Governors Cup, we welcome back Alaska head coach and 8-time PBA champion. Coach, please do not get mad at me for saying that. Coach Jeff Cariaso.
I apologize on behalf of him, from our entire staff here. My goodness.
I think you sounded great, Jet.
Oh,
Okay.
I appreciate it, Coach. I appreciate you. That's why. Okay.
You're too nice, Coach. You're too nice.
Okay, sis, from one Jet to a Jet, Coach, I want to ask you. I really want to ask you, Coach, now that you've had time to actually, absorb the news and everything that's been happening, and it's Alaska's final season in the PBA, what makes this franchise, coming from you, so special in PBA history?
Wow. First of all, I like to say, Alaska is special, and the reason being, aside from just the way they do things on a daily basis, I think to be able to last 36 years in the PBA and to do it with such class and to do it with such respect, regardless if you played with the company or organization or not, I truly believe that the respect is there amongst all peers, amongst everyone who's ever been part of the PBA, because they get a sense of how Alaska's run. They understand the culture that we built. They understand how things transpired in regards to, again, staying competitive. Boss Fred like to say winning the right way, and just the teamwork and family-oriented kind of culture that we have. It's really something truly amazing to be part of. I know there's similar cultures out there who are doing the exact same thing, and what I can be proud about is a lot of those cultures are from their experience with Alaska and understanding how they do things, and it's really just a tremendous organization to play for.
Coach, you mentioned it a while ago that they won in the way that they felt was always the right way. In fact, when you say the word integrity in Philippine basketball, the franchise that comes to mind is always Alaska. And when you hear that phrase, that line, winning with integrity, what does that really mean, and how have you felt, the need to keep that going throughout the years as a player and now as a coach?
I mean, the word integrity, Pao, it's like I said, there's many teams out there who live and on a daily basis with integrity. With Alaska, what that means is really just how things are done on a daily basis. We we develop guys, we rely on the draft, we come together and put in the work each and every day. We may not have the talent that most teams have, but there's one thing for sure that we do is we have that heart, we have that passion. No one's perfect. We're not saying we are, but we just like to go out there and just give our best. And we know that when we do win, it's always the right way.
Sounds great, Coach. And coming from you, of course, it really hits different. But long before you were Coach Jeff Cariaso of Alaska, you were the Jet, playing for the storied franchise and everything that they've gone through. One of the greatest teams, I think, in PBA history. What was your favorite memory, as an Alaska player, playing during that
We
time?
have a guest, by the way, and it might be certain free throws to win a certain achievement, but we want to hear it from you.
Oh, that's obviously one of my most memorable moments. Hitting the free throws, and aside from it being kind of like a dream, when you're a kid, it's like a dream play. You're down by, it's tied, and there's no time left on the clock, or you're down by one, and you shoot 2 free throws to win it. That was kind of like a dream come true for me, and that's really one of my favorites. There's a lot that I can talk about, but like I said, that's got to stand out as one of the best for me.
Well, yeah, so that, for those wondering, and for those who want to Google it, it's actually the All-Filipino in 1996, if I'm not mistaken,
Right.
Coach. And we actually asked you a while ago who were your favorite teammates of all time. And of course, the list had a lot of familiar faces. So you have Johnny A, Jojo Lastimosa, Bong Hawkins. But the name that surprised me personally, Coach, and I think you can add more context into this, is Merwin Castelo. Throughout your time, could you? There's a little smile on your face. Now I'm really curious to why. Could you explain why he's one of the names that you had to mention?
Merwin, is, and he was, and it still is one of my best friends, to be honest with you. When we were in the PBL together, so he joined the PBA and got drafted a year before me. Luckily I got drafted with the same team at Alaska, and we became teammates there. But yeah, our friendship stems from playing together in the PBL, and that was, again, my first couple of years in the Philippines. So he wasn't just a teammate; he was really a friend that helped me kind of, get used to just how things are here in Manila. Showed me the ropes, showed me around, and you always need someone like that to help you adapt to a new country.
Yeah,
pretty much. So that's why.
I think I understand, Coach, especially the transition and making sure that everything in between is all sorted out in terms of life, and that could be difficult and more than just stuff on the court. To be also fair, you mentioned also other teammates, especially from your return to the Alaska franchise, Willie Miller, Tony De La Cruz, Brandon Cablay, Nick Velasco, Mike Cortez, Sonny Thos. I wish we had more time to talk about all of them, but I'm letting them all know that you love them. So, moving on to the present, Coach, because the present, ever since announcement, Alaska have been on a tear. Players have been playing beyond themselves almost. How has this, development impacted the way your team has played in particular, especially in the way that you've won games lately?
Well, last week we were fortunate enough to be able to do well and win our 2 games for last week. Obviously, this week is a whole new challenge, and we only expect it to be tougher. But since the announcement, Pao, I'm really using this to try to motivate us even more and inspire us even more. This is our last conference, and to put it in perspective, this team will never be together again. A lot of guys will move on and play for different teams, but this is the last time we're going to all be together as one. So why not go out on a bang? Why not continue striving for that same goal that we did before this conference, and that's to win our 15th championship. That's all we're doing. It's really staying in the moment. That's the mantra I've set, to live in the moment. We passed the first 2 tests last week. We got 2 big tests this week, so we know it's only going to get harder.
Definitely, Coach. I mean, I actually covered the game last Saturday, like I mentioned a while ago, and
Jet was biased.
I was not biased. If I were gonna be biased, I would be biased for Coach Jeff, of course. But now with everything moving forward, coming from you, Coach, just want to get maybe a message for all the Alaska fans out there that are, of course, following this last season of yours.
Yeah. Right. First of all, our fans are one of a kind. I truly believe that. The numbers may not be as big as other ball clubs, and that's okay. That's how it is. But these Alaska fanatics have been there, and I know pretty much most of them, especially the ones who've been there when I was playing, and even a few who were there before I got drafted in '95. So you can imagine that. But I really love their undivided love for us, and I really appreciate their undivided support for us. And that's one thing you can count on is our fans are unique. And they're very special to us, and we appreciate them very much.
Well, thank you, Coach. Of course, thank you for joining us for the NBA. And then now with this, this news will always be emotional for all of us. And we wish you luck as the season progresses, and always be rooting for you.
Thank you, Jet. Thank you, Pao. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Coach. You got Jet to sing, so really appreciate you.
And when we return, we'll get some updates from Gilas Pilipinas as they enter the 2023 FIBA Asian Cup Qualifiers bubble. Keep it here. You're watching the game. Welcome back to the game. As a new look, Gilas Pilipinas squad looks ahead to the 2023 FIBA Asian Cup Qualifiers window. Our athletes have started their journey by entering the bubble. Let's hear the latest from SBP.ph writer and my favorite NBA fantasy opponent, Rain Tixon. Rain, good evening, and what's the latest over there?
Hi, Jet and Pao. So, the February window of the 2023 FIBA World Cup Asian Qualifiers is on its way. Gilas Pilipinas entered the bubble earlier today in Novotel, Araneta City. They were required to undergo RT-PCR testing and are awaiting their results before any preparation can take place. Joining them in the bubble are their opponents in Group A, which includes India, New Zealand, and South Korea. The Philippines' arch rival, the Korean national team, was unable to deploy their full team as some players contracted COVID-19. This includes their naturalized center, Ragun A, also known as Ricardo Ratliff. 15 of the 22 players in the Gilas pool entered the bubble. The players who entered are Roger Bogoy, Kib Montalvo, Kelly Williams, Poy Aram, Troy Rosario, Juan Gomez de Liano, Gab Banal, Chadi Rangel, Dwight Ramos, William Navarro, LeBron Lopez, JD Tongkab, 30 Ravenna, Ange Kwame, and Robert Bolick. The bubble starts today and will end on February 28th. Games will be held at the Smart Araneta Coliseum with Gilas' first match against Korea on February 24. That's it from the FIBA bubble. Back to you, Jet.
Thanks, Rain. First of all, congratulations for your very first report here on the game. And Jet, I'll let you ask the first one here.
Well, all the news and all the names, that's a lot of names that's been entering. Any news on the activity or the coaching staff also entering, and what their, any rough plans that they have that you've found out?
So their last practice was earlier today, and it officially resumes after Gilas gets cleared. The results will definitely come out tomorrow, but results might even come as early as today.
All right, Rain, thank you very much for that report. Obviously, we're going to hear a lot more from you from the bubble. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we can't wait to see you again soon.
And thank you, Rain. That was SBP.ph writer Rain Tixon giving us the latest from the Gilas bubble.
So, Miss Gilas Pilipinas in action starting Thursday, February 24 against Korea. You can catch the games on One Sports Plus, or why not catch it live. Tickets are now available via ticketnet.com.ph or call 891-15555. Lower box tickets are at 500 pesos while upper box tickets cost 200 pesos. Laban Pilipinas!
And thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jet Manuel.
Catch us weeknights here on One News, One Sports, and One Sports Plus. I'm Paolo Del Rosario, and this has been The Game.